Turn 49. It has been near constant war from the beginning. Our food and mana stocks have taken a massive pummeling. However, it is not all without hope. We did make Nicholas Landing. Our brave High Blade Master was monumental in the capture of this town and will be monumental in the war efforts ahead, which is why I'm going to give him a couple of perks in order to help him with that. I'm going to spend some money in order to bring his armor up to scratch. And in addition, I'm going to give him some enchanted weapons so he may fell all of my enemies. Which actually made him a lot more effective in combat. His melee and missile resistances are above 100 now, which means that he's got pretty much minus 75% to anything without magic. That's great. And it doesn't look like our good friend here has any sort of special magical items. Maybe he has a couple of spells, but he certainly doesn't have any strong tier 2 magic casters at the moment, which could be my only saving grace in this war. Let us end the turn and see how they cope with this. Poor Northport has been beset by rats and so on and so forth. Oh, it looks like he does have a little fireball spell, but that's not going to be that helpful to him. It doesn't look like he has any answer to his recently captured city. However, Anna the Benign is becoming increasingly annoying in her efforts to kidnap Northport. Reinforcements are coming from the south to quell her advance, but in the meantime, it's just really stressful to deal with. The bears are on the move as well, and they're going to move up and attack the archers, which did indeed attack them before. I was going to embark these guys, but it looks like they'll have to deal with a little rodent problem. Begin the extermination of these rats, and hopefully we can clear Northport of any further harassment. With Northport getting clear, I will then be able to devote more of my attention to the north, where most of my war efforts are underway. I know this is considered to be rather bad, but I'm going to have to ask the Rat King himself to engage his traitorous rat brethren and put a swift end to their shenanigans. The Elven archers are proving to be extremely useful in the defense of my town. Indeed, they were money well spent. I might send my rogues up this way instead so that they can embark on the north end of the island instead of having to go through no man's land in the middle, which is what these forces down here which will have to deal with. Fortunately, these units are relatively expendable, so I'm not that concerned about them being sunk. Strike that one from the record. I am a little concerned about Mr. Fairly Swift, so I'm going to send him back onto land and disembark him on the north end of the island.
Warriors.
The warriors, however, they can join their seagoing brethren in marching up this way. Do I have anything else to assist Mr. Highblade Master with? His existing enchantment is basic arrow resistance, but I think I can do him one better than that. I think I can give him in addition basic melee resistance to boost his melee resistance up into the stratosphere. There's an enemy at the gates. Those bears are marching on the town, but they will prove to be no hassle at all, as they are easily dispatched by my brave hunters, who are not directly involved with the war effort, but are tasked with the difficult task of keeping peace in these trying times. For their valor in battle, the Elven archers have leveled up. Good for them. Mr. High Blade Master is slightly wounded, so what I might do is instead of actually keeping him in the town, I'll move him up so he could begin the siege on Wizard Dawn. The main city of a place is extremely resistant to damage, so before I manage to march up this way, I should at first secure his less fortified towns. In the meantime, I'm going to send my goblin spearmen into Nicholas Landing to hold the fort, as it were. The Blade Master does not have a fondness for magic towers at all, and any of their ilk, so he's going to move up and crush that magic tower in one mighty blow. Alas, with it out of the way, it can pose no more threat to us. I see that Mr. the Eternal, or whatever his face is trying to send a transport cog down. Admirable, but ultimately futile. On the island with the elementals, we see that there's a magical thicket up there and a demon wood protecting it. Demon woods are extremely dangerous foes, but what I might be able to do is if I lure him out with one of my juicy skeleton warriors, the remaining skeleton warrior can run in and loot it. And again, for their heroic display of destroying the magic tower, the elven archers on this island have leveled up. What I might do is give them an enchanted weapons so that they can deal additional damage to better exact my revenge on these guys who dared to put up any resistance to my conquest. The Stubborn Knights, a fantastically defensive unit, are going to move up and assist my forces in attacking this place. Mark my words, Anna the Benign, once I am done with this gentleman up here, I will be coming for you to dare. You dared to declare war on me in my momentary moment of weakness. Re-Education City is not currently re-educating anything at the moment, so re-educate some of the Rat King's loyal rat pirates. Christmas Town likewise is not building anything, but I do not believe that my income can support any more. I must stockpile more gold for the war effort, and my mana is looking pretty terrible as well. My skeleton archers are going to oversee the production of the new city next to the Infernal Rift, and the Ghost Wolves are going to be responsible for scouting out the island, helping me plot my conquest. I see that there is a place there called Old Castle. Fortunately, it is out of the way, and therefore does not prove to be that important to take over. Okay, that looks like good. That's good. That's entertaining. He dares to resort to trickery to kill my loyal Shadow Wolves. Fortunately, they are more resilient than that. Alas, magical damage. My High Blade Master's one weakness. It looks like he's got another fort to crush. But while he's crushing these forts, it looks like he's building even more forts in order to stop my advance. How delightfully annoying. And Anna the Benign has effectively clogged the waterways in between here and the north, which means that I must deal with her ships. Fortunately, the neutral town of Lichton is proving to be very useful in my town's maintained defense. I will be sure to make their inevitable capture swift. As predicted, the High Treant has moved out and attacked the vulnerable skeletons, which leaves the other skeletons in a perfect position to go and loot his home while he is away. His home contained just a modest stockpile of mana, which is rather useful, but I wish it was something better, like a spell. My skeleton archers only have a single movement point. That's because the Treants put a debuff on them, rooted. It reduces their movement points by 2 and reduces their resistance. That's not good at all. In the town of Frost Gold Mine, there's not much going on here. This is relatively out of the way, so let's just have our business done and move on. In Nicholas Landing, I have the option of building a new town. Sorry, a new building. Whatever shall I build here? I want to keep the offensive strong, so I do believe I will build another recruitment building here. With another recruitment building built straight onto his island, my forces will be able to maintain the offensive for a much longer period of time. My High Blade Master has taken a considerable amount of damage from these magic towers. He doesn't like that at all. He doesn't have any fondness for being shot by magical bolts. So it looks like I'll be needing to destroy this remaining magic tower before I begin the siege of Wizardon.
Just name it.
Hooray! The last one is destroyed. And I'm responsible now for giving him a bit of healing for his valiant efforts. Alas, I need to deal with these annoying ships which are approaching. Fortunately, with my newly recruited elven archers, they're more than capable of taking care of this futile, pathetic attack. So if I move them up into the offensive position, they will be more than capable of picking them off while they're vulnerable at sea. You foolish fools. Did you really believe that you would be capable of stopping my advance? You are tragically mistaken. We just have a couple more ships to deal with. The ones which are threatening to embark the next turn. But they are easy pickings. I do believe I have got a brand new recruitment of vampires here.
It's time to pay.
So they should be extremely helpful in the continued assault, sending all my best units up to the north so I can make El Spiritor's demise quick and painless. I'll just hurry up with the rest of the turn to make sure that everything goes where it needs to go. Let's clog her own waterways, so she'll need to deal with our own forces. How she'll like that? I don't even know.
Where shall we go?
I guess I'll find that out very soon. Make sure that everything's doing at least something sensible.
Ready to pillage.
Since he's poised right beside my town, my poor goblin spearmen have no opportunity to rest.
Cavalry.
They are extremely intimidated by the boats. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be anything which is ready to attack them, so it seems like their fears are a bit misplaced. A mighty fireball from my enemy tries to kill my precious elven archers. How mistaken. Anna summons some ghost wolves straight onto my islands and attempts to continue her pathetic assault. Alas, my own ships are getting mercilessly bombarded. We have taken drastic casualties. But with some tactical positioning of ships and some masterful nautical work, we should be able to get through. The idea is to just get them onto their destination islands. With that in place, we can then rest them up. But while they're at sea, there can be no rest. Fortunately, Lichton is proving to be quite the useful ally. The skeletons which were responsible for distracting the Great Wood have unfortunately fallen. Alas, there was nothing we could do about them. They did their duties and will be given a proper reburial back in Halloween Town as soon as their bodies can be recovered. We are kind of hurting for food, but that will not stop the relentless research of miracle libraries, which will build some excavations as soon as they increase my gold income. Alright. We need to deal with the ships encroaching on the waterways. If I just manage to destroy these strong, quote-unquote, rats, then my ships are given a free passageway through these treacherous waters. It doesn't appear that my hunters are going to make it, so in order to preserve their lives, or rather to preserve the lives of my other ships, I'm gonna move them up as cannon fodder. Unfortunately, no matter how fast the rogues are on land, their speed is dictated by the speed of the vessel that they are standing in, and thus the vessel does not move very fast at all. There are some settlers there, but with my forces the way they are, it appears that there is nothing I can do to stop their pesky settling. Wizardon is in danger of being attacked, and attacked it shall be! With the blessing of the Hillowin bringing my High Blade Master back up to full strength, he is ready to deal a vicious, savage strike on Wizardon. It appears that my second town on this island is going to be ripe for the capture.
Robbers!
The robbers in Re-Education City, which were just recruited into my glorious army, now have the ability to move up this way. Success. And yeah, the boring parts where everything else moves up.
Vampires.
I don't really want my vampires to be in any needless danger, so I'm going to embark them up this way instead. And now begins the tedious part of the turn where I go around and make sure that every single other unit is indeed okay. But it looks like they won't be okay because there are some ghost wolves here which needs to be shot down.
For the elves!
A mighty strike from the elven archers manages to take care of them in one savage blow.
Woo! Time to move!
With my forces positioned, their transport cog cannot disembark. I want to level them up as fast as I can, so I'll get them perceptive. Some more stubborn knights have joined my glorious forces and will be monumental in assistance.
Stubborn knights.
Just like these ones are going to disembark and join the forces up there. Defend you. And I need to build a trade guild in order to get 100 gold and 400 mana. That's quite handy, so I think I might do that. Unless that was the quest I failed, in which case, oh well. I should probably be taking more notice of this, but alas, I do not care all that much, which is probably why I'm going to inevitably lose this game. Their magic tower has been reconstructed, and as predicted, it is harassing my force. Anna the Benign just cannot manage to make land on my island. Despite how many ships she attempts to send my way. As predicted, my poor archers managed to fall to their relentless attacks. Oh dear. It appears sending my forces straight through her base was indeed a very stupid maneuver. One that I may come to regret. Those settlers are extremely ballsy, deciding to head straight up into my face, where they can be attacked at leisure. That will be their last mistake. It appears the very monsters of the earth are coming to my aid with their continued assault on the enemy forces.
A new request, my lord.
That's fantastic. Wizarding is not long for this world, or rather, it is kind of long because it'll soon be under my control, but it will no longer be under his control for very long. Another mighty blow from the High Blade Master brings it down into the red. Yes, its imminent capture is very cool. It's very good. It's good. I like it. I like the fact that I'm dealing a bit of damage to it. Maneuver my forces around so they can disembark the very next turn. Move my rogues up onto the island where hopefully they will not provoke the wrath of those monster-eating spiders. I have the ability to research new spell and, whoa, transfer capital. That does not seem necessary. Christmas Town is the only capital we will ever need. Unless, of course, it's in any danger, in which case we will create new Christmas Town and handily move on. Out of the way, where they won't be hurt. Construct the building in the boring frost gold mine, which shall then be, I guess, the... yeah, it does have a harbour. So I can statistically increase the percentage amount of income that town has. I get to build a new city for 240 gold. That seems pretty delicious, considering I am already going to build a new city in this direction here. The skeleton archers have done a valiant job making sure that this land remains secure, and thus will be rewarded with whatever skeletons kind of like, really. I'm not entirely sure. It seems like more neutral forces are posing to be quite the hassle on my starting island.
Ready.
So, I must take care of them.
Stand right here.
Stubborn knights are moving up. More forces of mine are handily disembarking.
You're faithful.
And these forces are quite intimidating now that my main forces have moved on. I do need to be rather careful. Although, if I just handily destroy the enemies right next to my shorelines, then there is no way that they can possibly maintain a steady attack. That was probably unnecessary, but whatever. After a long voyage, the sole remaining unit of my forces in the south, the group of rogues, is eventually going to make it north. The Demonwood thickets, out of range of the skeleton warriors, can only look in terror as its home's plunderers sail off into the sunset. Defend along the shorelines, my loyal warriors. Defend and make sure that the enemy does not gain hold on our beautiful Christmas island. This seems to be an island of monsters. Let us ignore it for now. And may perhaps the rest of the game. Forever Alone Island. Let's end the turn and see what happens next.
Spear? Oh, you know we spears, yes?
Yes, my forces, I know that you are in fact the spearman unit I requisitioned not terribly long ago. With my town of Nicholas Landing perhaps not in danger, I might be able to move them up to continue the assault. It looks like he's putting up some emergency defenses around his town. Lots of forts and magical towers. They will soon be mine, which I will then deconstruct because I have no use for petty stationary defenses. My High Blade Master is getting pummeling, but all that is doing is is giving my guys some experience. Those boats are not exactly sure where they want to go, so they're just sailing around aimlessly. The archers do not have the range to shoot across an entire waterway, so all that they can do is stare and watch as their attempted assault falls flat. It appears that one of my enemies is sending me an offer, perhaps of peace? Maybe. We shall indeed see if that is the case. Lichton is maintaining its valiant defense of my waterways. What a delightful neutral town. How handy. Fortunately, those melee units can do nothing but stare up in pitiful fear as the bats soar on overhead. They cannot attack at all.
We have founded a new city.
Sunville has been founded right next to the infernal rift. That is delightful. And in this town we shall recruit more greenbats because they're proving to be rather useful in the exploration of the world. We have built our Warriors Guild, so now we can start the recruitment of our own warriors on this island. What I might do is I could build a smithy to give them a free perk, but that does cost me extra mana a turn. Or instead I can increase my farm and food production, which appears to be the one thing that I am missing out on at the moment. I can build something here, so I could give university education to the vampires, but that's really expensive. The Magic Bazaar is also extremely expensive, but it does give me what appears to be a dragon tomb. What is that? I must indeed have loyal dragons on my force.
Will you hear the words of an old
I'm
man?
sorry, my old man, friend, guy, opponents, victim, enemy, so on and so forth. But your forces are going to die. They're going to be taken over by me, and we will bathe the entire island in a festive green and perhaps red as well.
Let's have some fun, as you wish.
And alas, with this final strike, perhaps we can destroy Wizardon. Let us make sure that this is indeed the last strike by throwing a savage thunderbolt and reducing its defenses down to 0. Wizardon has captured the second conquest on this island. Beautiful. That is indeed delightful. Let us construct a pig farm, because we are kind of hurting for food. Let's destroy the ships which try to make land on our islands. That's not very nice. Go away. You cannot... You decided to send one of your heroes onto the waterways. The treacherous waterways of death and skeletons, and about 100 sunk boats at the bottom of it. You will regret that decision because he is now dead. I did not actually mean to click that button, but whatever. It's not like they're needed there anymore. I might send them back.
Ready to pillage.
What I did want them to do was rest and restore their hit points. The High Blade Master leveled up, so let us get him some resistance in the magical arts. Against the magical arts, because it's kind of annoying. Is it possible to Master Cleave this caravel? No, it is not. What a pity. The Caralavis, the brave undead ship of fantastic joyous occasions, is been recruited, so we can now send him out. Let us send our own brave hero units up to assist in the defense of my place up here. The rogues are in a little bit of danger. I'm kind of concerned of their continued well-being, so I'm going to have them rest in the water for just a little bit longer until there's some room on the disembarkment platform.
Attention.
I do appreciate the fact that I can embark land units straight onto the ocean without the need of building specific ships designed for transport. To tell the truth, in Civilization 4 and before that, that was kind of annoying.
Hunters!
The hunters have destroyed the wolves, and thus have the privilege of looting their den for 40 gold. What were wolves doing with gold? The world may never know. My brave, adventurous greenbats are flying up this way, and have met one of my rivals.
What have we?
Raksha.
A great mage, I see.
What have we here? A new victim, I see. And with that, we have revealed our entire enemy forces. How delightful. And it appears that this episode is slowly winding down to a close. So, with a last-ditch effort, let us begin our final offensive on Spellmere, which has grown to size 10, which is not that fair, because Christmas Town is only size 9. I sure hope that it gets to be size 10 very soon. It seems Anna the Benign, or is it my enemy up here, wishes to have another audience with me. It will not be that helpful. Lichton, what are you doing? Those are my forces. You shouldn't be attacking my forces. You should be assisting me, not shooting me out of the water.
Someone has humbly requested your aid.
And it seems like we've got a new quest. Let's turn their defenses against them and see what they want. They wish just to build a farm. That seems pretty helpful. So I suppose I could do that. But in Christmas Town, perhaps not. I've already built a smithy, so I think it's time to build a barracks. Is this the town with the smithy, or is this another town with the smithy? I do not know. So whatever. The barracks only needs to be built in one town for me to get the benefits of upgrading my units to tier 2. So I do not need to build a second one. Instead, I think I might build a bakery if I have not done so already. Jolly Elf Village. Let us begin the construction of a wizard's guild. Let us requisition some wizards into our forces. That shall be delightful. And Halloween Town. Let's build an air dockyard. Let's start pulling out the big guns now. I'm tired of all these measly forces I've been sending. So it's time to step up our game, lest the enemy step out our game. And there are some great bears right next to my place here, which is not good at all. I wish that there was not so great bears there.
There is
Anna the Benign wishes for peace, but since I'm going to just declare war at her anyway, I prefer to just happily shoot down her forces. Perhaps I can cull them slightly before we do declare official war. When she realized that her attack was for naught, and that her units indeed were just experience points for my elven archers, then she lost all the will to fight. Sad for her, very sad, but couldn't I build a elven shooting grounds? What do I require for an elven shooting grounds? For an elven shooting grounds, I need insufficient population. Construction is already in progress. City is not big enough. City's not big enough? Maybe that's because I built my Wizard's Guild prematurely. Maybe I don't want a Wizard's Guild. Maybe I want an Elven Bungalow. Is it possible for me to build an Elven Bungalow? Because that would be badass. I could upgrade my archers to sharpshooters, even if they are a little bit expensive. No, I don't think I'll have that yet. Because even if I do build the prerequisite building, there is no way I'll be able to afford any sharpshooters. Have you seen how much they cost? It's ridiculous. How is any warlord expect to pay for that? Yes, it is worth it. I'm not going to deny that, but my God. Continuing his relentless assaults, the High Blade Master marches up on Spellmere and delivers a savage smack of his sword to begin the delightful siege. The elven archers are going to stay here, and hopefully Wizard Orn does not get recaptured. Although I do not see how that is possible at all, due to the fact that there are no enemy units beside it. But they might surprise us. They indeed might surprise us. And that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Well, there's not much I can do there, so I'm just going to send my vampires up and suck the life straight out of those peasant settlers. Transport cog containing the rogues is going to move up there and hopefully will not be shot down by the forts. Which they're just going to throw a measly little arrow at it, and hopefully it'll do enough damage to deter it from attacking. Let's get you City Fighter and then march you up this way. It's time for the Rat King to also join the fray! Their continued shooting practice on their watery shooting grounds has proven to be helpful, and thus my elven archers have leveled up. And it appears that the remainder of the turn is just bookkeeping, so I'm just going to send my Caravellis around and have everything else explore. If I could find some useful thing, then perhaps I can found a city next to it. The green bats have done a perfect job in circumnavigating the globe. The hunters are going to move up and get ready to disembark. Stubborn knights also going to move up. And everything is looking nice and delightful. Almost done, and I believe it's today's end of the episode. So let's end the turn, see what happens, and then stop it there. Because I'm curious to see what the enemy dares to do. They try to shoot down our boats, but unfortunately they're unsuccessful. It appears that they've noticed my lax in defences and have decided to move up to resume their assaults. And it appears that they've got some accursed... they've got some Minotaurs.
Congratulations! You have successfully researched a new spell.
Minotaurs, guys. I'm going to have to deal with Minotaurs. But I'll have to deal with Minotaurs on the next episode of Warlock, Master of the Arcane. It'll be very exciting. Perhaps we will eliminate our third rival. That'll be great. Or rather, our second. But eventually our third, and then finally our fourth, in the final epic showdown with Rukjar. I wonder how tough he will be. Join me next time, guys. Goodbye for now.